Good afternoon, Mr. Carlos Ruiz. My name is Juan Miguel Posada, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my integrated activity about the breadwinner. So I'm going to be reading some parts because I've made like a summary about the first five chapters, and I'm going to be talking about and explain to you about the scene of the breadwinner, the setting, and the characters as well. So I'm not going to be telling you which chapter is which. I'm just going to do the entire five chapters. I'm just telling you a story, a complete summary. Like for example, yeah. So let me just begin. So first of all, we are introduced in Afghanistan. That's the setting, and the Taliban have gotten control over the entire country. We are shown the protagonist of the book, whose name is Parvana. She is an 11-year-old girl who convives with other four people in her home. First, her father, her mother, her older sister Nuria, her younger sister Miriam, and her younger brother Ali. Then we are shown that Parvana always accompanies her father to the market to sell things and to help um, read and write because her father cannot walk because he is missing a leg due to a bumping where he worked on in the school. Parvana likes reading and writing, and her father, to make money, he helps other people read letters, for example, and write letters back. Then, we are shown that they have been for over a year trapped, like let's say a quarantine forced by the Taliban group, which makes them be in their homes, which women cannot go out at all, only if they are with men, for example. So they are discriminated by the Taliban group. Then Pravana, whenever they arrive back home, Pravana is asked to fill the buckets of water to get enough food to boil and to drink. So Pravana, she doesn't like to, and she didn't want to do it. So she do it that does it anyway because she knows that she is the only one capable enough to do so. She explains that her mother and Nuria cannot go because they are women and they are going to be got by the Taliban. She's still young, so it doesn't matter that she's a girl. Then his father cannot walk. Miriam and Ali are just youngsters and they are not going to be able to carry the bucket waters. So then, when she finished feeding the water, her mother asks her to help her clean the cupboard, and she's mad, but she helps her anyway. Then, after that, we are shown about that he had an older brother that died, whose name was Hossein. He died due to a mine bomb exploding and therefore killing him. So their parents are always when they remember him, they are sad and they really get distracted and confused and separated from the world. So then Pravana helps her mother get the supper ready with Nuria as well, and then they have a great time. They have family time. They enjoy together. The food they eat together in Afghanistan. They eat in plastic bags on the floor. There they sit down and they eat together. And then father started telling them history stories because that is what he taught back in school. So he told them about some stories about war and how Afghanistan won almost like all the wars before. So then, after the supper, they started laughing and they had a great time. But then, out of nowhere, some Taliban soldiers came into the house. Everyone just literally froze. Everyone stayed there, and they demanded to take father with them. The problem, they said that it was because he was he studied in England, and that his beliefs were different, and they didn't want him to contaminate other Afghanistans. So then mother, she started shouting at the man to leave her husband alone and to give him back. Then Parvana, she was courageous enough to stand up to them, tell them to leave and to get out of her house and to give her father back. So after she did that, the soldiers with the rifles, first they knocked out the mother in the shoulder, and then they started beating up Parvana, and afterwards they left with his father. Then the mother told them to go to sleep and that tomorrow they were going to figure out what to do. So the next day arrived, and so what they did was that my mother said that Parvana and herself were going to go get um, um, their father back home. And so they walked hours and hours. They took a picture with them and showed them to all the villagers, to the neighbors, and nobody had seen them until they finally arrived to the prison where they demanded to get father out of there. Mother started shouting to get his husband out of there because he had done nothing wrong. And then Parvana accompanied her, shouted, "Get my father out of here! He's done nothing wrong." And so then the he like Parvana showed the picture to give them her father back to them, and the soldiers ripped the picture to pieces and dropped it in the dirt. Parvana grabbed those pieces quickly, but the soldiers started beating them up. Mother and Parvana, they started beating them up. So they like went back home, and so like yeah, they were like just suffering. So then when they checked their feet and they were like so sore and they were with splinters everywhere and they were bleeding basically, and they were so tired that they like went to like bed and like Parvana cleaned her like head and everything and her feet. But mother on the other side, she was basically depressed. She didn't move, she didn't talk, she didn't say anything to anyone at all. So basically, Nuria is trying to help her out. Nuria cleans her face, her feet. She like accompanies her. She puts some warm like clothes, warm like pillows and stuff like that. But mother still does not talk, and like they like continue to like help mother throughout a couple of days until the food runs out, and they're like, well, what are we going to do? We don't have food and we needed to survive. So they find a way, and so they come up with a plan basically. So then Parvana, like the next day, they decided they are going to go ahead and do the plan. So Parvana is the one that is going to get the bread or the nan, how that is how they call it. And so with the nan, they're going to be able to survive. They're going to like go buy some food, and like they are women, they are not allowed to. So Parvana goes and she like I mean she's able to buy the nan and she has it in her chest like this. But then a soldier spots her and tells everyone to get her. And he starts running, and Parvana outruns him. She runs, and she like falls down, and she like bumps into some turnips, and she fall like break everything like that like table and everything. But she keeps running with the bread here until she walks to a friend of her mother's, Mrs. Weira. Mrs. Weira tells her to that she's going to help her and that they both go back to help mother. Then she asks Parvana to go ahead and get the water, and Parvana does it gladly. While Mrs. Weira, she helps mother, she gets her up, she cleans her, she confides him, she like shares her feelings, she's empathetic for her. And so basically, Parvana comes back, and she's so thirsty that she's going to drink the dirty water without boiling it. But Mrs. Weir says, "No, you're going to wait until we have boiled it." And then after that, she just started drinking a lot and a lot of water. And then basically after that are the five first chapters of this book. So it's basically right now where we're at is that they are like still like suffering from father's disappearance, being trapped in the prison, and mother is still like depressed. She is feeling completely like torn in pieces. Like she's not feeling like herself anymore. So that's basically how chapter from 1 to 5 are. So I really hope that you like my integrated activity, Mr. Carlos Ruiz. So yeah, bye, and thank you for your attention.